Hey songwriters, this is Ari Koinaman. Today I'm going to analyze a Radiohead favorite, Idioteque, to see what kind of songwriting wisdom we can find in this song. So I'm going to play a bit of the verse melodies. It goes something close to this, what I'm going to play. It goes something like this. And on. And so what can we say about this melody? Note wise it's not that interesting. It just goes up and down a little bit. It's rather untuned for melody, but there is a strong rhythmic sort of a motif that's driving this melody. It goes ta ta ka ta 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 ka ta 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 ka ta 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 ka ta. Notice there's a bit of a syncopated feel. It doesn't really fall on the downbeat. And really, when you think of a melody, it's easy to think of it as a bunch of notes or a bunch of notes, right? I mean, like pitches, and that's what makes a melody. But a lot of times, what really holds a melody together is a rhythm. Even if the notes are fairly uninteresting, if the rhythm is interesting, that keeps the audience listening to that melody. So that's something that we can learn from this melody, and just keep that in mind as we try to write our own sort of a melody to your song. Alright, so that was the verse, and he kind of goes on, and there might be some variations to the theme as far as like both the rhythm and pitches are concerned, but it's fairly contained. It's fairly narrow range. A lot of times it's just like 4 or 5 notes in there. Alright, so next I'm going to play the chorus section. It goes something like this. Alright, so that is a very different sounding melody from what we heard in the verse. Notice that the verse, like I said before, it just is really contained in a pretty narrow range, and then all of a sudden he busts out of that range and then goes high into this high B flat. A lot of times what sets up the verse chorus relationship and why it works is because of that contrast, and especially verse being primarily like a setup function, and you want to have a sense of arrival when there is a chorus that comes. What you want to do is intentionally limit or make the verse perhaps not quite as interesting, or just limit its range, and then so that you can have somewhere to go when the chorus arrives. And then that's what's really happening here, is that the rhythm sort of drives the song with a rhythmic, what did I say? Verse drives the song with a rhythmic motif, but note wise it's less interesting, and then the high soaring notes are reserved for the chorus, and then when it comes you're like, oh, that's a chorus, I want to listen to this, right? And that's what keeps the audience engaged. Now finally, let's figure out what are the notes here that are being used. So he starts out with E flat and then goes to D a lot. Alright, and then it's up on the D. So what is that? That is a D locrian mode. Note wise it's the same notes as if I was to play E flat major, but then it sounds all really unsettling because actually the mode and starts and ends on D. And modes are just a great place to just put sort of a twist to your song in a very fundamental way. And it just really, even if you don't know what modes are and you don't know a whole lot about it, it's not that hard to look it up what it is and then just start playing with the idea and then just use the notes that are in a mode and use make up chords that are used in the mode, and then all of a sudden you have a song that doesn't sound like your regular that DGA three chords kind of song. It just, the song sounds distinct and original. This song has that sort of floating, sort of unsettling kind of feeling precisely because he's using the locrian mode, and that's actually a fairly rare mode to use. A lot of the other modes are a lot easier to go for, but my point is that this song is using a locrian mode, and that is what gives this song that distinct unsettling feeling, and that when you're writing songs, you want to explore possible modes that are not just the regular and major and minor scales, to see what kind of character and possibilities that you can come up with for your song. So in summary, today we looked at Radiohead's Idioteque, and we looked at how the verse has a strong rhythmic motif, and that how the verse and chorus set up a big nice contrast because the verses range is kind of limited, and then the chorus is where he sort of busts out of that range, and then how the melody is constructed from a locrian mode, and that gives it a nice distinct and unsettling feeling that really sort of defines this song. And those are all songwriting techniques that you can just sort of keep in the back of your mind as you try to write your own songs. Alright, so that's enough for that song. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.